everybody! This is Jpar, and this is the We Promise Nothing crew. This week on the show, we have Lipp, we have Myles, and we have Da Boo. And this week, we're just doing a little special thing from Comic-Con. We're gonna review the trailers. Now, we haven't done this before. This is something new. But there's so many great geekdom kind of trailers that came out during Comic-Con, we have no choice but to cover them. So here we are, doing our nerdly duty. We are covering the Comic-Con trailers. Alright, say hello to the audience, everybody.
Hey everybody, this is Lipp, and I'm excited about the San Diego Comic-Con trailers.
So official. Da Boo here, just kind of adding my comments.
Myles here, very excited for movies in the future.
All right.
So generalized.
Speaking of movies,
all movies.
Speaking of movies in the future,
I
let's.
like movies.
Isn't that why we're all here?
I like turtles.
Really?
I like Totos.
I was here for the food.
Where is the food?
There's no food. You're right.
All right. Well, you came for the wrong reason. Justice League. Let's start with that one. I think that's a big one that everyone wants to maybe cover first, unless you've seen the trailers. Maybe you want to talk about another one first. But let's cover Justice League. What do you guys think of this Justice League trailer?
I'll tell you this. Initial impressions, not super impressed.
Not Superman impressed?
No, not Batman impressed.
Oh, no. Or Wonder Woman
anyhow,
impressed.
if the trailer felt very jokey to me, and not very serious, it didn't have a serious tone, they probably put, it just seemed joke after joke after joke in there, and it made me kind of think, what kind of movie is this going to be? I want a badass trailer with all these cool superheroes. But I think they did Aquaman right. That's one thing I'm going to put in there. I'll let you guys talk, because there's so much to say about this.
No, there's so much to say, yeah.
I feel like the only thing that really vibed on me was what you had said. It was too much of the comedic tone. I kind of feel like what they were doing was very along the same parallel line of Suicide Squad, where it has that strong tone of humor, but that one makes sense. Whereas this one, I felt like they tried to just infuse it with a bit of it, which turned out to be kind of awkward right to the end. At the very end, it's like, I hear you speak to fish. Really? You're getting with that? Come on! But again, it was kind of like one of those things where I was looking forward to seeing them all on screen, and it happened. I'm like, oh, okay, that's great. Oh, why? What's with the humor? Oh,
here's what I wish they did. Someone should just needs to edit the clip of the Free Willy kid doing the whale over him and put like Aquaman in there, and that would be perfect. Throw that in at the end of that trailer. That would complete it. It's like here you talk to fish, but like it's not a stupid corny joke. If he's big killer whale jumping over him, you know what I mean?
That's a horrible idea. No,
that's a great idea. I love it.
Free Willy. No. I can hear the song and everything there while walking.
Oh my God, the Michael Jackson song in Free Willy. Well, Aquaman is standing there and the killer whale is jumping over him.
Myles, what do you think?
I liked it. We have a different director. Its hands are being tossed. It's from Zack Snyder to Ben Affleck.
Hands are being tossed.
Yeah, sorry. The baton is being tossed.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, okay.
You think this will be better than Batman vs. Superman?
I think it will be. One of the biggest problems with Batman vs. Superman for me was the tone. We had a lot of Batman tone, and it was supposed to be a Superman sequel. So that, even though the Batman stuff was really good, it wasn't supposed to be a Batman movie. And that kind of was its Achilles heel. The best part was the worst part. So for me, I really like this comedic tone, and I really like what they did with Aquaman because,
well, he's already hard.
He looks badass.
I know he looks badass, but he was always kind of like the running joke in a lot of different shows. Like
it's Seaman!
Big Bang Theory, they make fun of him. I don't want to be Aquaman when they dress up
no one wants to be Aquaman.
But now everybody wants to be Aquaman because
I don't.
Kick ass. Through Batman, Ben Affleck, 6'4", across the wall, like. I'm impressed. I want to see.
He's also called Drogo.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm looking forward to the character Aquaman. I kind of feel like if I comment about the comedic tone, as we put it, it was great the way they used it with Aquaman. I just didn't like the way they edited the trailer in such a way that it was like, oh, I'm going to end with that kind of a tone.
Yeah,
that's not the kind of Justice League movie I'm expecting. I want a stronger, serious tone with a small infusion of humor, but enough to say it's there and done with. This trailer did the opposite for me. It kind of did the opposite of more humor than seriousness.
And here's my problem with it. I mean, we're trying to make Aquaman serious, like you said. Well, if you want me to take Aquaman seriously, why are you ending the trailer with this corny ass joke and then not showing me a cool graphic to go with it to say like, oh, here's a shark he's summoning or something cool to go with it?
Beyond that, like we're talking a mythical race that deals with mythical creatures. And Aquaman, he was able to bring like giant serpents, like kraken-like creatures to do his bidding.
King of the Atlanteans.
Yes. Exactly.
Why can't they just end the scene with something coming out of the water and he's summoning anything?
It was definitely needed.
Then the fish comment would have made more sense. Cause
then you know what? That would have changed the whole trailer for me. I would have enjoyed it.
It was the weirdest cut, and it definitely felt like, okay, you went back. Did I miss something? Why did they black
It's like, did they cut out the last scene of this trailer? Oh,
Yes.
I guess that's how it ends.
So yeah, I'll give you that. It was definitely missing the ending, but everything else, I like Flash. I even like Cyborg, and I like Batman interacting with these people.
And
I like Wonder Woman.
Wonder
that Flash and Batman scene seems very Iron Man and Spider-Man-ish from Civil War, does it not?
It
Absolutely.
definitely does, yes.
He's like, can I keep this? Like, he's so the kid. He was like in love with his superhero, his mentor, you know?
That actually brought one of my favorite scenes, which was the one line from Flash. He's kind of like, well, you know what? I just need friends. And of course, Batman
he
just
plays
kinda
a very
gives him the
good,
look like-
awkward Flash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's secluded from
Intelligent, and you
yeah.
get all that from it.
And that's what I mean. That's something I wanted to mention. He didn't say much in the trailer, but he said, like, that seems like an oversimplification. I hope he keeps talking that way, like he's a scientist and he, like, talks smart.
Yes.
You
He
know?
seems like a very intelligent but socially awkward character.
Right, and I hope that kind of carries forward as this
Absolutely.
goes on. I think it will be better than Batman vs. Superman, but I'm also still not impressed with this trailer. Yeah, I'm not trying to shit on the DC universe. Wait till I give you the review of the next trailer. I'm gonna turn everything around on you guys.
Next!
Well, wait, do you got final closing comments on that trailer, anyone?
It's
No.
very early. That
Yeah.
Justice
Yeah.
League trailer was very early. They just started filming, so we gotta give.
So
them
now to
Wonder Woman, which is probably my favorite trailer out of the ones we saw, and you're like, what, Jpar? You fucking hate DC, you motherfucker, you lying sack of shit. No, I like DC. It's just that Batman vs. Superman sucks balls. Alright? Now, Wonder Woman, this is what we're talking about. This is a trailer that makes me want to see a DC movie, and I've been waiting kind of to see a Wonder Woman movie for a while. It's a character that's part of their main three, the Trinity, that's not Superman or Batman. Wonder Woman is the main third one in the DC universe, and finally, she's getting a movie, and it's happening in the past. It has Chris Pine. There's a lot of great elements about this. It's got color, which Batman and Superman does not. So, that's even great, too. But yeah, what do you guys like or not like about this trailer?
I like it's what, World War II-esque history? World War I even. Ooh, I like that actually probably better. Oh yeah, actually, and I just mentioned that a lot of the planes are very World War I looking. I liked her armor in it. They only show a little bit of it on her feet and her shield. It looks serious, and the tone of this trailer is serious.
It is very serious. It's not the corny Justice League trailer that
Exactly.
makes. And that's what makes it look great.
There's one joke in it where he says, "Well,
There is a joke.
You've never seen a man before," and she says, "My father's Zeus." Or it's
Oh,
created
no,
by
okay,
Zeus.
there's two jokes.
And he goes, "That's pretty cool." Or
No,
something.
he's like, that's neat.
That's neat. That's neat.
And he's just like, neat, like, huh? And then the other joke was the secretary. Remember, she's like, oh, I like her. Because she's like, what do you do? He's like, oh, I do everything he tells me. That's called slaves, where I'm come from. And she's like, oh, I like her. It's like, I liked that joke in there because it shows the cultural difference between Wonder Woman's world and the world that we live in. So that I liked.
Well, for that time, at that time period, right? Because nowadays, obviously, we can...
Even now, Themyscira would be pretty insulted with the way women are treated. Like, they're all women that live on Themyscira. They're not, like... they're
men.
Amazons. There's no men. They don't have any men. They rule the whole fucking thing, Like, they run the whole fucking show.
I'll just say this. I feel like if we took that same Wonder Woman in that scene, like you're talking about how she reacted to what's a secretary, and then she gets that explanation, right? Well, clearly from her point of view, yeah. I think if you had her meet a new secretary nowadays, I don't know if you'd hear the same thing, because women don't exactly take orders from men anymore, right? So I think that's what I'm trying to say, is that the time period that it was in with Christopher Pine in that time, in World War I, makes perfect sense.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Clearly she would react that way. And
It makes more sense back then, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it would still ring true even if they did it for modern humor, too,
I think they picked a really good time period because World War I, there was hardly any women that fought in the war.
Well, that's for sure.
They were
And
just
she
either
is a warrior.
nurses, or they were making ammunition for the men
Yeah.
to go off to war. And now we have these women, and I think they're going to play that into the movie with all these Nazi men underplaying what these women can do.
Well,
like
not
Wonder
Nazis,
Woman
but-
walks into a room full of dudes with guns, and
They don't think twice of her.
yeah, it's just okay. It's just a woman, with a sword and shield, and then she takes them all out, no problem.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I like this.
They only showed a little bit of it, but I think some guy swings at her or something. She grabs his arm and throws him across the room, the bar, it looks like. Boom.
And what about that one scene that looked very much like that's the one scene I did like from Batman vs Superman when Batman's cleaning house in that room, and they have that one where she's cleaning house and she's on her shield, she's got the whip, the sword. Oh, man, that looks great.
Someone hits her across the stomach with like a gun. The gun explodes because she's, ripped.
She's Wonder Woman.
She's Wonder Woman.
I think this is going to be one of those moments where we get to not only see her character finally come up in the big screen for the first time properly. I feel like it's now like if we were to see the proper blending of the Batman and Superman elements of their worlds, because she's very much a godlike character, like
She
Superman.
is. She's a goddess, for
and
sure.
she has the combat skills of very much a tactician as Batman does almost. So I kind of love how you pointed that out. That one scene there where it was just very much in and around the room in a matter of seconds, and she's completely cleaned house. Yeah, that's very much Wonder Woman, but at the same time, it was very much in your face as Batman would always be, but in a tactical sense. Superman would be more like brawling, right? He'll just shove himself.
Well, he doesn't have to. He just flicks you with his finger. You go flying across the world,
Well, yeah.
But that's one of the biggest problems with Superman is how do you get enemies that pose a threat?
Right.
And that's one of the biggest problems.
Yeah. So I fucking love this trailer, and I can't wait to see this movie, to be honest. And something I wanted to mention about this trailer that I noticed is that these DC movies have a very dark shade to them, like Batman vs Superman, even Suicide Squad. Even though it's got some color in Suicide Squad, there's still like a dark tone over it. I noticed something in the Wonder Woman trailer. She's the only really colorful thing in those scenes. Like the blue and the red just really stands out in these very dark, drab looking scenes. She's the color in it. And I thought that's a very interesting take. I wonder if that's going to go, like, could it carry through the rest of the movie? Because I think that'll be visually interesting to see.
Well, she's definitely going to stick out. She's going to be in the trenches with guys full of mud and everything, and she's going to be in this battle armor. She's going to really stick out, especially with her shield getting pounded with bullets in that one scene was awesome.
That was cool too.
That was
the
really
visuals
cool.
in this trailer are just great.
Oh yeah.
And I liked the first Captain America, but it wasn't. I think this one it looks similar to that Captain America, the first Avenger, but I think this is gonna be a lot more. I think it's gonna be better than that. I think it's gonna be awesome.
I agree.
I hope they pull a lot of elements from the Captain America in the right way to give us a good Wonder Woman movie, though, because there's a lot of reasons why Captain America: First Avenger did well. There are a lot of reasons why it didn't do so well too in some areas. But anyway, I just feel like Wonder Woman being a much more intense being versus Captain America, I think we're going to get some much more interesting scenes in play here. Even more so now we're talking about an empowered woman, which I think is a message all in itself. And I think, like you're right, Miles, I think it's going to be carried throughout the movie in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Did that little...
I'm just picturing a bunch of people on horses going to battle and about to
which
kick
you
some
see
ass,
in the trailer.
And you see that in the trailer. It's perfect soundtrack.
Yeah. And you know what? The best part of that was they ended on that amazing sound piece.
Yes.
Unlike we just talked about Justice League ending on a shitty joke.
Yeah.
It's just the Wonder Woman trailer is just so much better.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just well
Wonder
done.
Woman's here to kick your fucking ass. The Justice League are here to crack a few jokes. Like, what?
All right.
All right, moving on. Doctor Strange.
Ooh, okay, so you loved Wonder Woman. I actually really like Dr.Strange. That's probably my favorite trailer that came out of Comic-Con.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. It just really impressed me. A lot of the visuals, you said it's Inception-like, which it is. It is very Inception-based.
That's my biggest gripe. I wish they would have picked a different visual, made a new visual for it, so something we can kind of connect with Doctor Strange, but instead, I feel like we're borrowing Inception's effects.
Yeah, I agree with that a bit. I hope, at least when we see the movie, there's more magic in it.
Well, I'm sure there's going to be lots of magic.
But I mean, you saw some symbols on his arm.
Yes,
as
that
he's
I like,
casting
because
stuff.
that one
I would
symbol
like
they
to
showed...
see those almost on buildings and stuff
yes.
as they're morphing in and out and transmuting almost.
And
spoiler alert.
that symbol...
They are going to be doing that.
Oh, there you go.
They're called runes, and every different sorcerer in the movie or sorceress has their specific runes, and they have specific magics that they're really strong with. So you're gonna
That's
see
what
that.
I wanted to mention. That's a very Doctor Strange-esque thing that ruin, I guess, the image that you see on his hand in the
Yes.
trailer.
And I'll be honest, I don't know too much about Doctor Strange, but I was impressed by this, and I'm excited to see it. I think probably my favorite line was, how did you become a doctor? And he said, I studied for years. He goes, well, that's how you're going to learn magic.
Yeah.
You will study and learn it and learn the arts.
In other words, there's no shortcut. You
There
can't
is
just
no
sit down, read a
shortcut.
book and get it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a spider didn't bite you. You didn't get hit by gamma rays. Learn it.
Can I ask you guys, how do you feel about the actor behind Doctor Strange?
I believe he's an amazing actor.
Benedict Cumberbatch,
Absolutely.
who's been in many
I'm
great
very,
roles.
very excited to see him.
I'm actually excited to see him join the Marvel Universe because just more and more they're getting such great actors that are coming into the fray. I love it.
I wonder if Boo is asking because he's a British man trying to play an American man. So now he's got an American accent.
No, you know what I'm
So
thinking
he
is
sounds
because
like the House Doctor. The Doctor from House.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
he's
Gregory
British.
House, yeah.
He's British, but he's playing this American accent, and I hear that when I hear.
Oh my God! You know what? I don't even want Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor. Now
get
I
House.
want him.
Yeah.
Now I want Doctor Gregory
Now he-
House here.
I bring it up because I feel like I had I actually accepted him better as Khan, and then when all of a sudden after having taken him in as that under that role, all of a sudden now he seems Doctor Strange. I had a hard time seeing Doctor Strange in him, and I think this is where I'm going to have a harder time taking it. I'll give it credit; he's a great actor. That's why I asked. I don't see too many roles where I see him outside of the more intense roles that he's played. Khan being one of them, I guess.
Yeah.
For me, but I don't know. So I don't know. If that's the
I'm
only thing.
excited. You know what? And now that you mentioned that, not specifically about that actor, but I'm going to mention in one of the future trailers that I have a kind of a gripe with one actor who I find is always just the same. But we'll get there. I'll mention it later.
Oh, okay.
In what? In this trailer?
No, not in this trailer. In one of the other ones we're reviewing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, here's the thing. I love Marvel. You know me. I fucking love the Marvel movies. And I'm excited to see how magic is going to work in the Marvel Universe because, these are all connecting movies. If you're not into the Marvel movies yet, what the heck are you waiting for? Get started. Iron Man, Captain America, Avengers. I mean, there's so many great ones. Guardians of the Galaxy, so many great ones to pick from. You should get into these movies, and the continuity between it is just awesome. Every time they bring out a new character, it's just exciting to see what they're going to do and how they're new in the universe. So that's exciting to see. But like I said, I'm a bit trepidatious just because of the effects.
For me, I'm just a little. For a second trailer, it didn't give us enough. I hate to say that. If you're a new person coming into this, you don't know what they're doing. You don't know all the Inception stuff, like the multiple realities. You see New York City, but you see 4 versions collapsing on itself. I don't feel like they told you that was magic. I don't feel like they told you there was a reason behind what they're doing or how they're doing it.
I felt the trailer conveyed that. I thought they conveyed that they had magic pretty quickly.
I don't know.
That they can teleport or transport through.
She said, yeah, we
long
can move
distances.
from one distance to another really quickly. Okay.
Which they showed. us,
Which
open
they
the
showed the
portal.
teleportation.
They showed you that, but
Yeah.
is that magic?
And then he,
Or
well,
is
he also
that
says
some
how
sort
is
of
it possible,
science,
and she
a
talks to
wormhole?
him.
Mutants!
Yeah, well, I don't know. For me, they didn't give me enough.
Not in this
as
universe.
a second
Sorry.
trailer,
I
it
thought it
wasn't
was
good for me.
I thought it was explained as, how did you learn to become a doctor? And he said studying, and then she said, well, this is how you're going to learn the magic arts. I thought that was, for me, I grabbed onto it right away.
Yeah, I don't think the dispute is whether if it was accepted as magic or not. I think the problem with the concept of magic is just what this dispute is all about. Each of us
I
have a
believe it
different
is
point of
magic,
view what
right?
magic
His-
is. Yeah, I feel like it was magic
It is.
because it was the use of the runes, and we've seen the runes physically manifest as they were, doing these spells. Beyond all that, and beyond the whole Inception concept that they're using visually, there's so many things they could have done with it, but I feel like what they're doing is they're taking in elements that we've seen already that we can already accept as potential magic. In this case, being this idea of kind of like this, it's what we're calling the Inception concept, right? Where reality's bending in on itself, where it should really happen. Well, that's loosely said magic. Magic is the illusion of things, right?
Yeah, you gotta remember, DC Universe does have magic. It's one of Superman's weaknesses.
Yep.
So-
Magic, yeah.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, there's a new Justice League movie coming out very shortly. Justice League Dark.
Oh, the animated.
Animated.
Animated, yes. That looks really
Not the
good.
one we were talking about earlier.
No.
An animated one.
No.
Okay, so are we done commenting on Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so.
Also, there might be another one of the Infinity Gems in this one.
Interesting. Okay.
So which carries on the Infinity Gauntlet if you've been following the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Okay, Batman Lego movie? Is that next?
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess that's the last superhero movie.
Alright, well that's, what can you say? It's Batman Lego movie. It's got some cute jokes.
You were laughing mostly.
Well, I mean, it's funny. I mean, it's not something I'm going to go to the theater for.
Yeah, I don't know if you were laughing so much at the trailer or at the jokes.
They were kind of corny, too. Like, I mean,
that's part of
some of them were funny, some of them were just cornball. You know what I mean?
Isn't that a Lego
I'll tell you this.
Well, you're right, but I mean, the Lego movie was actually good. I mean,
if you
I don't know if you've seen it.
The
It's
Lego
actually
movie,
good.
I think you're gonna like the Lego Batman movie. I enjoyed the the regular.
Yeah, I like the Lego movie, but I
thought it
don't
was
know
hilarious.
if this is gonna hold that same humor. I think it just might be like a different bunch of writers. Like, oh, we got the Lego product, we got the Batman product. Let's do what we want.
I guess we'll find out. There's not too much to say about this one.
Is that a bad thing for you, though? Is that why you're bringing that up, though? That it... Because it does bring back elements from the Lego movie, I think is what you're saying.
Right? They had the girl in it as well with the purple hair. She's in the original Lego movie, and she's in this as well. I saw her in the trailer.
Oh, is
Really?
she? Oh,
There's some continuity, I believe. Absolutely.
Oh.
Check that out again.
See,
I believe that remember she says to the main guy, I have a boyfriend, and then later it's Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In
but
the
then
original
movie.
but then she breaks up with him after,
Well, she's in this one at least. So
and then starts going with the Chris Pratt character.
is that it? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what happens at the end.
Really?
Well, yeah,
Sure?
that was Lego movie.
Yeah, that's Lego movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I did see at least her Lego character in this one. So I don't know if this is continuity or maybe it's before the Lego movie. Well, the Lego movie it's probably in on its own.
Nah. Either
I'll be
way,
honest. Am I gonna see it?
do we care if there's continuity between
No,
the Lego movie and the
no.
Batman Lego movie?
Nobody cares, but I want to see this movie regardless.
I think if you're a big fan of like movies like the Lego movie, which became kind of like an earworm for a lot of people, right? I can see why they would look for continuity. I don't think any of us really care, as we put it, right? So it's...
I'm
it's
going
up
to
the
touch
writers.
upon something here. This is a very serious conversation that I know that Myles and will get involved with here. I mean, this is almost too corny for Batman. Like, I can accept Batman, Brave, and the Bold because it kind of plays off the old corny comics of like what they did with Batman in the comics and all the corny team ups he did. But this is just going too far.
Well, I'll tell you this. You can't look at this as a Batman movie. You have to look at this as a Lego movie. Lego does their own video games, like Lego Star Wars, Lego, stuff like that. Lego Racers. This is a Lego-based movie, not a Batman movie.
I like
That's
the
what I
Lego games,
Yeah.
but I find this is kind of like when you have two Hunger Games movies and it could have been one. This is they're taking one part of a good movie, Lego movie,
The Lego movie.
and then they're stretching
Yeah.
that one
Yeah.
funny part, which was Batman here
Yeah.
and there, and
Yeah.
now they gave him his own movie.
You're correct. You're absolutely correct because people love Batman in the Lego movie.
I don't know.
People
it
love
had a
Batman. It
few-
doesn't matter what form you do it in. People just love Batman.
Maybe
This is
if I had
absolutely true.
kids, I would go see it because it seems like there's
Yeah.
a lot of kid humor in it, but I don't.
Well, maybe that's why they're doing it because maybe these new DC movies are too dark. So here we go.
Yeah.
Here's some
That's a good point.
kid-friendly
If
Batman
you want to get
stuff.
into Batman, here's a way to do it. They have Robin, they have Alfred.
Kong?
Moving on. Good Kong Skull Island.
Yes.
This looks good.
Yes and no. Is what I'm
Okay.
gonna say.
Okay.
So here's
why?
the thing. Boo said we were talking about Benedict Cumberbatch as Khan, as he has difficulty seeing him as Dr.Strange. This has Samuel L. Jackson in it, and to me, Samuel L. Jackson plays pretty much Samuel L. Jackson.
Well, yeah, you're right about that.
The only movie I find he doesn't play Samuel L. Jackson is Django Unchained. He plays
Kingsman.
and the Kingsman as well. But I mean, for the most part, he plays Samuel L. Jackson. And in this, I feel like he does. The best part of this for me, John Goodman. I am so excited for John Goodman in this movie. I love him as an actor, and I'm actually really excited about
Okay,
that.
here's the thing. Even though Samuel L. Jackson plays the same character every time, there's one scene in the trailer where Sam Jackson and John Goodman were talking to each other, and they seemed like they were in a heated conversation. I'm actually, as stupid as it is, I'm actually kind of excited to see that scene, to see what they're talking about, because they're both such... They're good actors. I mean, yeah, Sam Jackson plays the same fucking guy all the time, but whatever. I still like him. I just want to see the interaction between those
Here's
two
the
actors.
thing. I
in
feel
that.
like you mentioned the Kingsman, the Secret Service,
Yeah.
right? And Django Unchained, where he plays a different character. He has that ability, and I feel like when he plays Samuel Jackson, it's kind of just like he's tossing I don't know. He's just tossing it in there. He's not really trying. I feel like they could write a different character, and he could play that character better, but he just plays himself instead. And to me, that's just kind of like, it's kind of crappy. So I don't know. I'm not excited about him,
Oh, yeah.
but I'm very excited about John Goodman. Very excited.
I'm very excited about him, and also Loki's in this.
Tom Hiddleston.
Tom Hiddleston. You know what? I haven't seen him in much, so I'm actually excited to see him in something else aside from Avengers movies and Thor movies. So I think that'll be good.
But did they even give him a line in this trailer?
You're right about that.
No, he just shows
Fact
up.
check. No, they didn't.
Did they not? I didn't look.
I don't know. Is he American? Is he British?
I like how
don't
you
know.
fact checked and then immediately like,
No.
nope.
I don't think he actually fact checked.
No, I don't think he did either. Lip, that's a.
I
good
fact checked my
observation.
memory.
Yeah,
Oh,
he did
yeah.
the data
It's pretty
approach where he
accurate.
just kind
Yeah.
of.
No, he didn't talk.
But no, you're right. I think they only showed him once, which was that scene where he's smiling from the helicopter, and that was it. That was all you ever saw.
They showed him a few times. He had a gun. Okay,
Okay.
so is he a bounty hunter? Is he there to be like Chris Pratt, taking care of the velociraptors? Sort
He's
of
gonna
dude?
be the hero of it. You know he
No,
is.
I think
feel
John
like he's gonna be
Goodman-
like an animal.
John Goodman's the animal activist in this, I believe. Who
Not
Yes,
an activist,
yes,
but I
you're
mean
right.
like an
He's the
animal
scientist or the one saying, "Oh, these animals have been here for
I've
a
discovered,
year."
been
yeah,
looking
yeah.
for this island, and then
Yeah.
Samuel Jackson plays the "I want to hunt this."
Yeah, I'm
gorilla."
gonna kill these animals kind of thing, and then the in between guy is gonna be the hero, which will be Tom Hiddleston kind of thing, and he's
think?
gonna be the one that I think so. I think he'll be the hero of it.
I think
I think for
Samuel
him to be the
Jackson's
hero,
gonna
he
ruin
didn't.
the movie.
I agree with you, Miles. I think Samuel Jackson might ruin the movie.
The whole
for me.
movie, like there was some really iconic scenes with like a kid with a spear. There was a guy standing in the flames, helicopters falling, and then you have Samuel L. Jackson. I don't want no motherfucking plane or motherfucking snakes on this motherfucking plane. That's what I see with Samuel Jackson.
Too many goddamn gorillas on this goddamn island.
He's gonna take a serious tone or like these iconic things, and he's just gonna like make a fart noise or something. Like that's what I am picturing with him.
It's
in
like
the movie.
honestly, even when I watch like the first Star Wars movie and I see him as Mace Windu, I just go, "Oh, Samuel
yeah, one of the
Jackson."
most powerful Jedis, and it's like, oh no.
Oh, it's
It's
there-
Samuel
Samuel
Jackson.
there's
Jackson.
Nick Fury. I mean,
Yeah.
Mace Windu.
Yeah, Pulp Fiction. Like it goes on.
I'm actually quite shocked that you guys haven't even talked once about the actual Kong
Effects.
himself.
The effects. That's what I was trying to get to.
Not the effects, just Kong.
Well, he is an effect.
I
I'm
know.
sorry to tell you.
He's not real, Boo.
Thanks
He's
for
not real.
Yeah, thanks for ruining that, there, Dave.
Yeah.
No, I
Movie
just
magic.
I kind of feel like that the whole topic you guys are talking about are all the actors and all the characters about to
Well, that's what I was
come
trying to
upon
touch
Kong
upon.
himself. That's great and all, and I get that. Yeah, Sam Jackson is hard to digest in a movie of this tone and all, but what I actually really enjoyed about it was the same effect that I got when I'd seen the first preview to Godzilla. They didn't show the creature much, but it was enough to say, I'm like, oh, okay.
I think you see
I
his
gotta
legs
chill.
and his bellies a bit.
Well, two
His belly,
things.
right? As
The
they're kind of
legs-
yeah, he
panning
was
up,
fat.
and he is huge.
He had a dad.
Don't start with that shit.
He had a dad body.
Shh, get out of here. Stop it. Stop
that
it.
whole camera
Stop
scene
it.
where they're going down the valley through with the helicopters, just coming up, and the camera's slowly panning up, and all you see is like maybe the top or the lower torso portion of Kong, and he's standing at a distance. So right away you get like this idea of how big he really is. And then even furthermore when he shows up at the very end, when it's just his whole
face,
head shows
yeah.
up.
But that's something I like about the trailer is that they play it up without showing you too much. And one of the scenes that I thought was really awesome was the big bloody ape hand that was on the mountain. And I mean, you don't even have to see King Kong. That would scare the shit out of me. Like, what is big enough to put its handprint that big on the fucking mountain?
Why is it bloody?
And why is it bloody? Did he just fight Godzilla? What the hell?
Yeah.
Speaking of which,
This
is
is
this the direction they're going with these movies?
Kong versus Godzilla.
King Kong versus Godzilla.
Is it
I
not the
hope
same
not.
director?
From the producer of Godzilla.
Oh, well, there you go. That might explain why I got that vibe from it then, because he did the exact same cinematography and how they kind of very subtly introduced Kong, which is exactly that. Now that makes
They
more
are.
sense.
I'm pretty damn sure they're going in this direction.
Now I
Miles.
don't know if you guys watched the old King Kong movies,
I've never.
like black and white.
I've never seen the original King Kong versus
Okay,
Godzilla.
I watched them, and the whole idea on it was King Kong was the king of the island, right? You had all these different animals. You had T-Rexes, you had you had dinosaurs, you had mythical creatures, giant serpents.
If anyone-
but King Kong,
Yeah.
he always defended the territory, and he always won the fight. So
Yeah.
I think that blood was just him saying, "I just fucking killed whatever monster
Oh
that
yeah,
was."
yeah.
There you go. There's
Boom.
his blood.
Yeah.
That's what I got from it.
Oh, that's cool. That's a
But
good way to
go
look at it.
To go to you, Boo, when you're saying why are you worried about the characters and not King Kong, I think it's because every character is going to have a different interaction with it. Because you're going to have the hunter, you're going to have, like Samuel Jackson, he wants humans to be on top, of the food chain.
He's gonna want to hunt King Kong.
You have
and
the
then-
animal activist. You have
John
John
Goodman.
Goodman. He's like, hey, this animal was here first, and he's lasted this long for a reason. And then you have the girl. She's crying, so I'm assuming that she likes
And we're assuming
King Kong.
Yeah, and Tom
Hiddleston
Hiddleston might
has
be
a
the
gun,
love
so-
interest or not the love interest. I don't know.
I think he's gonna be like an animal tamer of some kind.
well, I think he's gonna be. I still think he's gonna be the hero, but
he's gonna be the hero. Blah blah blah.
I get all that. I just feel like you guys talked about all that first more so than because I was waiting for you guys to bring up Kong. And
well,
not
I
a
was
single
trying to
moment.
get there, but there's still apparently a lot to talk about that. Apparently,
Well, there's a lot to talk about.
I kind of feel like when you guys talk about the characters, all I have in my mind is when they introduced them, I got the same vibe I did when, the Jurassic Park human characters first came on the screen. Grant and how he represented,
Oh,
okay.
Well,
There's two things I'm gonna
Yes.
say about that. If you finished up your
Not really, no.
Okay, we'll finish it.
Well, I just want to say that there's that and leading up to the love interest I
Plus,
think you
Lipp
brought
just
up.
farted.
It's the chair.
The chairs are squeaky.
But yeah, it was just one of those things where like each of them gave me the same vibe from previous movies, so they didn't do much for me. Whereas I felt like Kong was the only thing that stood out for me. Hiddleston, for instance, his character had no lines, so once again, he wasn't a memorable character, and yet I feel like he was supposed to be. Kong, however, only had I think maybe a second or so more of screen time than he did. He was more significant, well, for good reason.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, and I love that, and you had a good explanation there. It makes sense, the whole territorial thing. He leaves his mark from his last kill.
Well, they
and he's
had
the
one scene
king.
where Buddy had a Gatling gun on top of a Triceratops skull.
Bone. Yeah, skull.
Yeah,
So that was really cool. It's like, okay, so they're going to show you other
like there
creatures
was dinosaurs
on
on
the
that
island
tier,
with
yeah,
Kong.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty cool.
Wonder if there's gonna be giant bugs.
Okay, so okay, probably. They were in the Peter Jackson one. There was giant bugs.
Yeah.
Now that's something I wanted to touch upon. I know you guys don't all agree with me, but I actually like Jurassic Park movies for the most part. And that's kind of why I kind of want to see this. I mean, that's what even the Peter Jackson King Kong, even though it's not a great movie, was still kind of fun just for that, seeing all the prehistoric creatures and all that shit. So I'm still going to have fun seeing that. Now, what you're saying about the actors, Boo, I'm going to come back to this. Because you said, we were talking about that, all those effects are great in movies and they're awesome, but if you don't have good characters or good actors to hold it all together, it just falls apart. Like, look at Jurassic Park 3. It's still, it may be okay because you still got the dino effects and all that, but, some people don't like Jurassic World, and they blame it on,
Terrible.
Well, that's the thing. You make
That's
it
the
sound
latest
like
one?
Yeah.
I still agree the characters
that
are
one's better
important.
than
I
the
just
third.
felt like it was.
Well, it's definitely, Jurassic World's definitely better than the third, and I will still say that.
We will have to debate that.
No, that's for realsies.
We'll debate it later. Debatable.
Anyways, you're saying, Boo?
Oh, now I get to talk. Well, no, I believe the characters are important. I just thought it was interesting that they talked about all the characters, and then it was just I'm waiting. It was leading up to Kong. That's all it was.
The effects look great. I got nothing against that.
I got no dispute against the effects. I just felt like it was the one elephant in the room in the guest.
There was an elephant in the
Yeah.
trailer, was there not?
Yeah.
Or was that the other? All
no,
these
that
trailers
was
are starting to
another one.
blend.
Maybe we should
King
blend
Arthur?
into another
Okay, so
movie
are
now.
we done with Kong for now?
So.
Until we go see it. Until we go see it, I think it's gonna be good.
excited
I think
for
it's a must see.
everything.
I think it's a
still
must see.
wanna
It's gonna
it.
be good. It's gonna be good.
I will say this though, I will be a little disappointed if they bring Kong to Manhattan or some other.
See, that's
and
what I'm
suddenly
hoping.
Shove him at the top of a
See,
building.
that's the thing. I
I
don't want that. I don't want the same old boring King Kong story where he's at the top of Empire State Building. And I don't think it will be because
I
it
don't think it
is
will be
called Skull Island. So I think they're gonna keep him on the island, and I think that's what's gonna be good about it.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree too. Yeah.
Okay, moving on, we got King Arthur.
Yes.
Another king?
King Arthur, Legend of the Sword.
And as this trailer starts to go, I'm just going to say this. I'm like, okay, this looks okay. I mean, it looks like a very realistic, medieval, take on King Arthur. Not too much magic, looks very dark and gritty. Could be okay. And then it says, oh, it's a Guy Ritchie film. Okay, all right. Now you got my interest piqued because Guy Ritchie makes some pretty good films, and I might be interested to see where this goes.
Yeah. I'll agree with you. Like, the way the trailer starts off, I was not that interested. And then I was interested as soon as it said Guy Ritchie. And they have a couple jokes in there that...
Kind of seem Guy Ritchie-esque in a
Absolutely,
bit.
they
Yeah.
do. Yeah, they do. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know if it's going to be good,
No.
but it might be okay. I mean, the Guy Ritchie is selling the whole thing. His name is selling
Absolutely.
it.
Absolutely. I would agree with that. It's also got what? I saw Littlefinger in there for just a little second.
Yeah,
Game of
there's some
Thrones.
Game of Thrones people.
Yeah,
We don't even know who he is. He just shows up for like a fraction
He
of
looks
a
like
second.
he's an archer of something. Yeah, you see him for half a second in there. Is there any other Game of Thrones characters in this guy? I feel like there's... Yes. Who else is there?
Just instant yes.
The Boltons.
Oh, really?
Ramsay Bolton's father.
Oh, yes, that's
I
right.
can't remember his name now, but
Yeah, because I felt like there's not... He is talking to Arthur.
Right at the
Yes,
beginning.
About the dream.
What's his name?
yeah, he's asking. I don't.
I can't remember his.
I feel like there's a lot of Game of Thrones characters coming up in the next trailer as well.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Does anyone else feel like King Arthur, or at least the story of King Arthur, has been revisited too many times?
Well, it definitely has been, but so has King Kong and all these other stories.
No, King Kong, we haven't seen as many, I feel, anyway. Like King Arthur, I can think of maybe 2 or 3 movies that come to mind that touch upon either very directly or loosely the King Arthur character.
Well, you got Merlin, the TV
That's what I was
show.
about to
There's
say.
The Sword in the Stone by Disney.
Yeah, but that's my point.
There's
So
even
many
movies
versions.
after that too.
Yeah.
Excalibur was
They had
a good movie.
Clive Owen did a version of King Arthur, I think,
Yeah.
at one point, which was, I think, more of a Knights of the Round Table kind of storytelling.
Yes.
This one had
Yes.
more to do with, I think, is the Sword in the Stone.
Yes,
Which
where he
is the
pulls
whole-
the sword
The
out
sword
and
from the
becomes
stone
Queen
becomes the
Arthur.
king.
Yeah. No, this is part of
Ordained
what
by heaven.
worries me. It worries me in that we've seen so many different versions that some people will say, "Oh, I hate the whole sword and stone concept," and others will say, "Well, I love it because it brings back memories from the Disney movie." There's no reasons why to love or hate it that way, but I feel like because we've seen it so many times, I'm
You're
gonna
right.
have a harder time taking this one seriously.
I'll tell you this. As I saw this, I kind of thought to myself, I hope they do a Merlin movie because I think I would like that more. I don't know.
Well, that's what I was wondering. Like maybe
Right.
there could be a Merlin character in this
There might
somewhere
be.
that they haven't introduced yet.
I
Yeah,
was
it's
thinking,
magic.
I haven't IMDb'd this, but Jude Law seems pretty Merlin-esque.
Yeah, he was the
He's
magic.
able to make everybody bow down
And
to his
Jude
hand.
Law's a good
He had
actor,
a
too.
flute.
He had fire in his hand at one point.
Yeah, does he? Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
see the fire. I felt like he
Merlin's
was almost
been bad.
I didn't
Merlin's
see
been
any
good.
magic in this trailer. How'd you catch that?
There
You
was
missed it?
magic.
Really? It was a
Jude
brief
Law was
moment.
standing there
Yeah.
and he was holding a fireball
Oh, I
in
didn't
his
see
hand.
that. Did you see that, Lipp?
No, I didn't see that at all.
Oh, so I'm not the only
actually,
one.
my
He also
impression,
made all the knights in front of him bow
Oh.
to his hand.
Yeah,
A
but
coin
that
and a-
could be.
I'll tell you this. My impression was he is
anything.
the current
Okay.
king. My impression was he's the current king, and Arthur pulls the sword out of the stone, and now there's a battle of
Challenges him.
who is the new king, and this is
Yes.
where the battle. It's called Legend of the Sword. So this is how Arthur becomes a
Right.
legend and
So
becomes
who
the
are
king.
you gonna follow? You gonna follow the original king, or are you gonna follow the guy who just pulled the sword out of the stone?
Which
Exactly.
explains that whole scene where he says, "No matter what, I will not fight," and then it breaks into
And then he's like, "Oh, I got some fighting." And then meanwhile, we're sitting here watching the trailer. It's like, wow, that's gonna be a very boring movie if you don't fight.
Yeah.
All right, so I mean that looks like it could be okay, I guess. And the final one that we're gonna cover is a computer animated, completely 100% computer animated movie, CGI. It is a Final Fantasy movie, and it is called Kingsglaive.
Final Fantasy 15.
Yep.
Yes,
Following
based
the
off
game.
the game that's going to be coming out very soon.
Yep.
And they're trying to make this the impact that Final Fantasy VII had, if you know anything about the Final Fantasy series.
Yes.
It is one of the best-selling games of all time. I'm sure something's beaten it by this time, but at one time it was the best-selling game of all time, beating out Super Mario Bros. 3, which was the previous holder of that record.
I think-
Something is definitely beating it now. I don't know
Oh,
what.
yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of 7,
The-
it also has a
Probably
movie of its
GTA
own.
5, I think, beat it.
The way I would look at it, though, is look at the time. You had a PS1. Okay, we're going back in time. You had 56K modem. So
Yeah.
how did you know about other good games? There was no reviews. You had to actually buy a strategy guide, things like that, or talk to your friends.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth. So to me, if you take all that into consideration, this game did really, really good.
Yeah.
Considering all the mediums that we had to know about the game.
Well, the internet was starting to become a thing around Final Fantasy VII when it came out.
Just starting.
Just starting.
Yes.
In its
But it was
infancy.
there.
Yes. I remember reading Notepad texts to figure out how to get to
Walkthroughs,
the
right?
Yeah, the
FAQs and
walkthroughs.
walkthroughs.
Yes.
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 Which turns out to be other gamers
This
giving
is
them
pre-YouTube videos. This
Yeah, I
is-
know. Like, the kids might not even know what we're talking about right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, even the term
But here we
walkthrough
go.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy, and it looks spectacular. The graphics look great. Lena Headey, who is Cersei Lannister, does a voiceover at the beginning, which is kind of a nice touch to see some more of those Game of Thrones actors come over.
Sean Bean.
Scene Bean, Sean Bond, he's in this.
Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul. from
Aaron
Breaking
Paul,
Bad,
bitch, is in this.
From Breaking Bad and BoJack Horseman.
Yeah.
You said Central Intelligence, which we just watched.
Yeah, I just watched, which I think is a good movie, but that's another thing we can cover another time.
Loved it.
Anyways, we'll cover that.
Stop it!
Nice quick plug.
We got enough to review here.
Yeah.
I know.
But yeah, this looks. I mean, I like. I wasn't too crazy about Spirits Within. It wasn't Final Fantasy enough for me. But they're in space. There's some weird shit happening. There was definitely stuff that they mentioned that was like, oh, well, there's the Final Fantasy connection, but it was like very not present. Yeah. There's like, they mentioned 1 or 2 or 3 things. It's like, oh, okay, I guess that's our connection. That guy's name is Sid. Perfect. If you know anything about Final Fantasy, you know what I'm talking about.
Where's Biggs and Wedge?
Where's Biggs and Wedge? So there you go. And now the second one, which was based on the Final Fantasy VII movie, which had starred Cloud and Aeris and all that.
Advent Children, which was a great one, in my opinion.
That's what this one hopefully will do a similar effect.
Yes.
I'm hoping, anyway.
And a lot of people do like Advent Children, even though it was that weird one scene where all the characters just brought back in quickly. It's like, hey, we're all here to help you, Cloud, in this big fucking ship. Oh, cool. Don't need you. Oh, cool. Bye. And that was it. Okay, cool. I'm glad you brought all the characters in for one scene, but, the rest of the movie is great.
The action was amazing.
Amazing!
Everybody fighting the Bahamut summon. Oh,
that was cool, too.
I love that.
I gotta rewatch that movie
Sephiroth.
now that I think about it. I like the
soundtrack.
I know we're not reviewing Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, but you gotta watch this. The one where they're fighting in the woods, he's fighting those other two.
Yes.
The other two,
everything's black and white.
The other two soldiers, I guess, is what they are. From Soldier?
They're remnants.
They're remnants, right. But
Sephiroth.
they're still kind of, right, they're remnants of Sephiroth, but they're still kind of what Cloud is, in a way.
Yeah.
When he fights 2 of those guys, he breaks his swords apart, he goes, spins all around and knocks them back. Holy fuck, what a great fight scene. Yeah. And it's only like CGI, too, so I mean, it's not like choreographed or anything, but it still looks fucking fantastic on screen.
Given you guys might be bigger fans, obviously, than I am with Final Fantasy lore, but is the king in this particular movie played by Sean Bean? Is he of any relevance in the previous series, or is he just
like any other Final Fantasy movie or story? There is no connection from any other previous one. These are all new characters, and there'll be one guy named Sid, and maybe Biggs and Wedge.
Yeah. So I feel like this is actually a more Final Fantasy-esque movie compared to, like you said, Spirits Within.
Yes.
There's magic, which I think is the king, and his kind of realm, and then they fight against what is like a mechanical robot kind of army or something. And to me, that feels very Final Fantasy-ish. There's a lot of magic versus technology in the Final Fantasy series. A lot of them.
Yes.
Now, as far as video game movies go, they generally do suck. But this is completely CGI. Maybe if Warcraft would have taken this same path, it wouldn't have been such a crap movie. Sorry to tell you, but it is a crap movie. So maybe if they would have taken this path as well, because I can't stand the human characters standing next to the CGI cartoony characters. That's bullshit. Make it all cartoon. Or, unless you want it to look like Space Jam, make it all one cartoon, or make it look all real. Do one of the two. Don't try to mix them together. Doesn't make sense, unless you want Bugs Bunny and Yosemite Sam in there. But this is a much better take, what I think, to a video game movie, which is all CGI, and it looks great. This is something I want to see.
Absolutely, I'm up there for wanting to see it. And I think, Myles, you mentioned there's also going to be a TV show to go along. This is a tri-pronged attack, movie, TV show, and video game to really boost up the Final Fantasy series. Not that it needs any boosting.
Is it going to be in theater, the movie? Or is it like a direct to...
I don't know. That's a good question. It was shown at Comic-Con as a trailer, but we promise nothing. We don't know.
We don't fact-check ourselves before
we promise nothing! Well, I hope it goes to theater, because give Final Fantasy another chance at the big show,
Yeah, I would like that. Advent Children never went to
I know, and it didn't. And it was much more deserving of being in the theater than Spirits Within.
Absolutely.
I think both projects were approached differently, though, when you think of it. Advent Children was very much, they were being a little more cautious, I think, when they launched it. And they seem to treat North America completely different than, obviously, what they would do in Japan. Which they do the complete opposite.
Yes.
They push it like there's no tomorrow, and then they think, here in North America, it's only a little bit of a thing that's been kind of picking up in pace.
No one liked the original Final Fantasy, and guess why? Because they didn't have any characters that no one knew anything about, and also, it didn't look like fucking Final Fantasy.
There's really good animation.
Really good animation.
It just
You
didn't
can't
tie
take that
into
away.
The lore
Yeah.
that everybody went
And
there
it's
for.
not even that it's a bad movie. It just doesn't tie into the lore of Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Actually, I remember at the time saying, like, this is the best CGI movie I've seen.
Yes,
Final
and
Fantasy
it
Spirits
was.
Within.
It was.
I said, like, this feels, when I was watching Spirits Within for the first time in theaters, I felt like it was 10 years ahead
Yes.
of other animation.
Me too.
It was so good, so
Me
well
too.
done.
The animation was...
It still holds up today. That's
Oh,
how
I'm
good
sure
was.
it does. There was parts I remember watching it and I thought this looks real. Like holy shit! Like the girl, especially the girl character, they really put a lot of detail in. So yeah, I mean, if you haven't seen any of the Final Fantasy movies, you might want to check those out too because, and I mean, Spirits Within and even Advent Children, they're probably seldom seen movies. Like I mean, we've all seen them, but I guarantee you, there's a broad audience out there that has not. The first one is interesting. You don't have to be a Final Fantasy fan to appreciate it. It's okay. The second one, maybe you have to be more of a fan to appreciate that one.
Specifically Final Fantasy VII.
Specifically Final Fantasy VII. And I don't think you're going to need to be a fan for this third one. I think they're all going to bring us in fresh and we're going to get something new out of this.
Yes.
It's funny too that we're on the topic of Final Fantasy because I feel like also Final Fantasy VII should be kind of acknowledged in that it's getting a remastered version, you know, at a later time. So I know we're not talking about it, but it kind of ties into this Final Fantasy theme that we're seeing.
And that goes to show that Final Fantasy is the most popular out of the franchise. That's the one that they remake. That's the one they turn into a movie.
Seven.
Or what did I just say?
Just Final
You
Fantasy.
just said
Final
yeah.
Fantasy.
Final Fantasy VII is the most popular out of the franchise. That's the one they turned into a movie. That's the one they took the characters that they turned into the second movie when the first one didn't do so well. And I mean, that second movie came out way after Final Fantasy VII came out. It didn't come out with Final Fantasy VII. What was it, like 8-10 years ago that this other Final Fantasy... You might have to fact check that.
2005.
Was the Advent Children? And when did the Final Fantasy VII come out on PlayStation?
97?
Yeah.
So 8 years? 10 years? Almost.
I think so. I believe it was 97.
I think you're right. 96 or 97, eh? That sounds about right.
I'll tell you this. I went and replayed that game and beat it like a year or two ago. So,
So
I love it, I
very
love it.
fresh.
Yeah, very, very fresh.
So there you go. I mean, it just goes to show the
97,
popularity.
bam.
There you go. Good call, man. Final Fantasy VII came out in 97. I'll never forget that now. But yes, I mean, good point, Boo, because it is the most popular out of the series.
Well, you gotta think, like, 8 was not the greatest in my opinion. 9 kind of went back to kind of some cartoony kind of looking stuff and wasn't great. 10 was okay, but was mostly a movie. It was to show off the power of, it was the PS3 at the time?
PS2.
2. And it was mostly, I felt like you were playing a movie half the time. But they did make 10 too, which is, so, I guess 10 itself was kind of popular if
I
they
stopped
made a
playing
sequel
after
to
10
it.
myself.
And honestly, I haven't played, like you said, I haven't played really after 10 either. I knew 12. Well, they went online. One became
I think
an
9
MMO.
is the last one I played.
Yeah.
12 was online, yeah.
Yeah, that's the MMO.
13 went back to offline. 14 is back to online, which was Realm Reborn, and so on.
Yeah, and now 15.
I really liked 9, actually. Was that the one with the wizard and the knight
the
and
black,
all that
the
again?
black
Yeah,
mage
I
and
liked
stuff.
them, yeah.
Which, you know what, I had Final Fantasy 1 for a regular Nintendo, and I played that,
That
and
was a
beat that,
major
and
callback.
I loved it, and actually, I only played a bit of 9 and I never beat it, though. So I shouldn't say it's crap, to me it never held a candle to 7, or I guess the people who love 10 so much.
They could have lost the card game in Final Fantasy 9. That was kind of what did it for me. I didn't like that crap. Jpar's like, there's a card game.
I forgot about
Exactly.
it. I do vaguely remember, but it was kind of
You
weird.
can challenge people at card games and it was
Right,
stupid. Who
right.
cares?
Well, it wasn't a bad idea. They're trying to get the
Nah.
mini game thing in there again, but it just
Yeah.
didn't pull off like the snowboarding of the arcade in Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
Chocobo Racing.
Yeah.
The Chocobo Racing, yeah.
Racing, breeding,
That
and
was
had it
good
all.
too. That was good too.
One thing I'm looking forward to, kind of in this same topic, is going back to Final Fantasy 1. They're bringing it back with the mini NES that they're going to be pumping out.
Right,
there
right,
soon.
right. Yep.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought
it's
that's a
one
great,
NES with 30 games.
30 games
Yeah.
built into it, so it's kind of a cool little concept that
It's
it's bringing
awesome.
back all those old retro, originals, including
Retro gaming.
Final Fantasy 1. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So it's
All
been
right.
defeating chaos.
So when we're not talking about video games, we're reviewing movie trailers and movies. If you got any comments about what we're talking about today, just leave it below. You could follow us on Twitter at We Promise Nothing. Drop the G. You can like us on Facebook. And if you like what you hear, you can like, subscribe, and share. This is Jpar signing out.
This is Lipp. I'm taking off to watch more movies.
Boo is going to go bye-bye again.
I'm just going to walk upstairs, put on pajamas, go to bed.
Get out of here, Miles. You don't belong here. You don't live here, Miles.
This is my house.
Oh, shit. I guess it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's weird. It's usually in my place. All right, guys. Good night.